Hello and
Good.
welcome to Ditch Witch Diaries. We are here and we're talking about poisons, and the next poison on the fun little list is going to be hemlock. So let me share. So here is the lovely hemlock, and as you can see, I am not tired with my font. Super in love with it. So let's just get right into it. It is Conium maculatum is the Latin name. And here are some pictures of it. So that's the botanical drawing. Here's some fun pictures of hemlock. Poison hemlock, because there is water. We'll talk about that anyway. So, of course, my prose. He looked from his loft on day to where his slighted garden lay. Nettles and hemlock hid each lawn, and every flower was starved and gone. Thomas Hardy, The Two Men.
Nice.
So parts used are like we're using the whole plant here. There's like if you use it and what is used. We'll talk about this because it's poison. So the whole plant is poisonous. And anyway, other names: devil's parsley, beaver poison, devil's porridge, herb bennet, kekes, kex, musquash root, poison parsley, spotted corabane, womb licks, bunk, heaver, case, devil's flower, gypsy flower, break your mother's heart, lady's lace, scabby hands, warlock's weed, winter fern, and spotted cowbane. And the name conium comes from the Greek conus, and it means vertigo or to whirl. And we're going to see that definitely ties in to its poisonous action. So the plant information. It's part of the carrot family, and it's a much confused plant for so many reasons. The first, and I'll put a link to this in like up here, is that there's a tree called the hemlock tree. We've actually done our lovely Raven has actually done a thing about the hemlock tree. So yeah, and also there's water hemlock, which is just as poisonous or more so, which I told you. Plus, it looks like other plants, and we'll talk more about this too. It looks like wild carrot. It looks like parsley. It can be confused with wild chervil or Queen Anne's lace. So hemlock is taller than Queen Anne's lace, and its flowers are white, different than Queen Anne's lace, but it's often confused with that. Its stems are smooth, and that's another way to differentiate it compared with like a hairy stem. So, and it has dark purple spots. They're often referred to as the mark of Cain, but just as like another reference, Queen Anne's lace is their stems are hairy. So, it grows near streams, and it's a biennial. So the first year, that's biennials are plants that mature after 2 years, and they usually die. Another biennial is oh, what's that one plant that's oh dang it, what is it? That one that it's good for coughs. It starts with an M. It's good for your lungs. It's like
Oh,
they're these huge, like
yeah.
beautiful, like they like okay, they like the first, and it does the same thing. The first year it grows this like big rosette kind of thing, and then the second year it shoots up these stalks, and they have these big. Oh, they make witches tapers out of them. They make witches tapers with the stalks. Once they grow up super high,
Yeah.
then they cut them off and they make these witches tapers. You can dip the plants. Dang it, it's gonna kill me.
Mullen.
Mullen. That's right. You got it. Mullen. Okay, so perfect. Mullen. See, I knew everything around it
I
except
know,
for
I
the
was
name.
like, and it's hairy and
Exactly. It's soft and exactly. So all another biennial, and I'll put the link to it, is Mullen. And it does the same exact thing. So that's how biennials operate. And after the second year, it's dead. It's given everything it has to give. So this too is a biennial, but that's often how the biennials operate. Rosette first year, second year, they shoot up their stalks. So Hemlock can grow up to 8 feet tall. It has finely divided leaves and it has umbels. And we've talked about other plants with umbels. So umbels are like, here, let me even make me, let's see, I don't know if I can do this. Here, let me change how this is worked out. Let's see. Um, I don't know if that's okay. So umbels have like one stalk, and then they have like a bunch of other like stalks that come out of the top, and then they have flowers on the end of each one. Sometimes they even are double umbels. So then they'll have on top of these little umbels on top of the end. So this has umbels with small white flowers. So, it's native to England and Europe and West Asia and North Africa, but it was introduced into North and South America and Australia and New Zealand like early. So you can find it around here if you look. Like we have found it in Escondido in that park that we like. Yeah, what is it? Yeah, I can't think of names today. Like it's getting old. I feel like I'm getting old. It has a very bitter taste. We're gonna find that a lot of poisons do. They have very bitter taste, and this also has like a horrible smell. Like almost people describe it as like a dead mouse smell. So enjoy. So now we're gonna play a game. Okay, the game is which one is hemlock? Okay. Is this hemlock? Is it hemlock?
No.
At the umbels, you're right. It's wild carrot. Is this hemlock?
Ooh.
I know.
I'm gonna say no.
Wild chervil.
Yes.
Okay. Is that hemlock?
Uh, I don't know. That one's hard to tell.
That is. It's hemlock. That's hemlock. What
Nice.
about this one? Is this one hemlock?
No, that looks like Queen Anne.
That's right. Yep, Queen Anne's lace. And let's see,
Yes.
the reason why, look it's got the hairy stems, first of all, and it doesn't
Mm-hmm.
have the spots on the stems. So
Mm-hmm.
the purple
Yeah.
spots and the hairy stems give it away. That they're the lack of purple
Mm.
spots. Okay. So let me see here.
Nice.
What about that one right there?
Ooh. Um, I can't tell, but I want to say no. It's very sparse.
Yep, wild
Okay.
turtle.
Nice.
And this one.
Ooh, that one could be.
It is. You
Yes.
got them all right. 100 out of 100. I don't think I would have got them. You're good. 100% on the test. Let's go on. So the poisonous action. So the death in this is another interesting thing is because hemlock and water hemlock have kind of different like ways that they act on the body. So this is the death that you get from poisonous hemlock is through respiratory failure. It acts on the peripheral nervous system. It causes coldness, depression, and paralysis, but your mind is not affected at all, which is kind of disastrous and sad. You like basically like stop breathing. It's respiratory distress. So it's also interesting that the warmer the weather, the more poisonous it is because the alkaloid content of the conine is higher. And so at the beginning of the season, the alkaloids, the most deadly is conium, are the most concentrated in the roots too. And then as the season progresses, it travels up through the plant. And at the end of the season, the seeds are the most dangerous. So at the very top. So that's very interesting there. So you don't die immediately from this, which is even more gnarly. Okay, so at first you feel like woozy and drunk, hence the name is like meaning to whirl or to swirl because you feel drunk. It can take 18 to 72 hours for the full toxic nightmare to happen to you. And they like there's like what it does is the conium, it sends these mixed signals to your muscles that control your breathing, and it basically tells them to stop breathing. So that's what's going on there. And just a few leaves can kill you. So be careful.
Rough.
People die because they mistake it for wild carrot or something all the time. Like they die from
Mm.
that. You can mistake this for other plants. That was what that whole game was about, is that this is easily mistaken. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so the one thing though is that most of these alkaloids are destroyed by heat or boiling, and they're gone in the dried plant. So unless you're eating this raw, like you shouldn't really, it's not like, it doesn't have the effect of death if you're not eating it raw. So you can
Mm.
play with it once it's dried, once it's heated or boiled, although still be careful, but they're mostly destroyed, so easily destroyed. And if you touch this with your dry skin, with your bare skin, you can get dermatitis, as with a lot of these plants. A lot of these plants will cause some sort of dermatitis. So it's not like drastic, but and in case of poisoning, so this is what the antidotes are: like tannic acid, stimulants, coffee, emetics of zinc or mustard or castor oil. So they make you barf and then basically give you stimulants, because this is just like a
Mm.
depressant, like a it just makes you
Slows
stop
everything
breathing.
down.
Exactly. So they
Yeah.
want to keep you awake. They want to keep you breathing and awake.
Mm.
So, stories, import, cultural lore. So the Athenian state in Greece, they poisoned people with hemlock, and most like notable is like the death of like Socrates supposedly died by hemlock poisoning. So Theramenes and Phocion, I don't know who those people are particularly, but they both were poisoned with execution by the Athenian state as well. And the picture you see is it's like the death of Socrates, or the execution of Socrates. That's supposedly Socrates there. So um also on the Isle of Sia, now it's called Kos. So the Isle of Kos, so people were like, this is like some gnarly science fiction crap. I wonder if they got that movie. There's like a movie about this as well, like a science fiction movie. So after a person reached a certain age and they felt like they were going to be like a burden on people, they would take hemlock and kill themselves. Well,
Mm.
whatever. People don't like that word, and I don't know why they don't like that word, but whatever. They would. It is what it is. Like
Yeah.
unalive themselves. I don't know why that bothers me so much when people say that. It does bother me though, because like it's just a way to get around the thing. Anyway, so we're talking about poison though. So they
Yeah.
would poison themselves with
Mm.
hemlock so they wouldn't burden people in their old age. So another weird thing.
There's another name for they depict it in Midsummer, but there's a tradition in like what is it? Welsh or something where they would it's kind of the same thing like once you got to a certain age and you could no longer contribute, you would end ended.
I almost want to say it's Logan's Run, but Logan's Run, it is. I was right.
Nice.
Okay, so I
Nice.
wanted to say Logan's Run, and it is Logan's Run. Okay,
Mm.
so um anyway, so that's the movie. It's like this is a real life Logan's Run, and I'm wondering if they didn't get that concept for that movie from this, like the Isle of Kos. So
Mm.
anyway, so in Germany. It's called a plant of great hatred, which and it's supposed to harbor resentment for other plants. It's like so much, especially rue. Like it's supposed to hate rue, and
Mm.
it hates it so much that it won't even grow near rue. And very interesting.
Interesting.
So in German culture and Norse, it's considered an otherworldly gift. And then this is an interesting thing too. So okay, so in my research, some people had said that there's like that all of the ties to magic were like modern and like it really wasn't a magical plant ever. But I found that like Cornelius Agrippa talked about this plant, okay? And he wrote the
Hmm.
fourth book of occult philosophy, and it's one of the four spirit herbs of Cornelius Agrippa, together with smallage, coriander, and henbane. So just
Interesting.
FYI, this is a magical plant. It's an occult plant, and it has been as well for a while. Like some of them I can see how it's not like hugely discussed, but it's like it's definitely tied. There definitely is magical ties that predate some modern interpretation. So in Southern Europe, okay, and this is really interesting. Okay. In 800 AD, there like this Benedictine monastery in southern Italy used a mixture of opium, henbane, mulberry juice, lettuce, and hemlock mandragora, which is mandrake, and ivy, and it's called in an anesthetic. So that this was like so that they could operate, called dwale. Okay.
That would knock you out.
Yeah, like it would fuck you up.
Yeah.
So this is like before modern medicine. This They would
Mm.
use hemlock to like probably not, and they knew how much. So we're gonna talk. So this is the quote, okay, and it's from Carter, and I put a link, of course, in the sources. So, how to make a drink that men call dwale, to make a man sleep whilst men cut him. Okay, take 3 spoonfuls of the gall bile of a barrow swine, which is a boar, for a man and for a woman. For a man, you use barrow swine boar. For a woman, it's sow. It's the bile of a sow or a boar, basically pig bile.
Mm.
3 spoonfuls of hemlock juice, 3 spoonfuls of wild neep, which was brioni, which we saw. I'll put a link to that. 3 spoonfuls of lettuce, 3 spoonfuls of pape, which is opium, 3 spoonfuls of henbane, and 3 spoonfuls of isel, which is vinegar. And mix them all together and boil them a little. And well, if you boil henbane, it's going to take away, we know some of its, so maybe you only boil it a little to take away some of
Mm.
its potency, and put them in a glass vessel well stopped, and put thereof 3 spoonfuls into a potel of good wine, and mix it well together. When it is needed, let him that shall be cut sit against a good fire, and make him drink thereof until he falls asleep, and then you may safely cut him. And when you have done your cure and will have him awake, take vinegar and salt, and wash well his temples and his cheekbones, and he shall awake immediately. So
Ugh, God,
I know.
that sounds
Yikes.
terrible.
I know. You know what? Let me just tell you, that is a positive thought for today's medicine.
Yeah.
Anesthesiology.
Mm.
Woohoo. We're not using dwale anymore. Of
Yeah. God.
course, the Bible. Okay.
There's always.
Always. So King Solomon is said to have consecrated his magic knife. I know it's nice. With oil of hemlock. I have to say that because I say so straight.
Mm.
So there's also another story that said that hemlock only became poisonous after it was growing on the hillside next to the crucifixion. So that's why, hence the crucifixion there. So, like I said, mentioned before, it was a symbol of Cain, and the dark spots on the cane on the stem were called the marks of Cain. So, if you don't know the story about Cain and Abel, okay, it's a very strange story. So, Cain supposedly murdered his brother Abel, and it was like the first murder, and he was like marked, like God marked him and his seed forever. So with the mark of Cain. So, and different churches and religions have very racist ideas about what that might be, the mark of Cain. So we'll just
Mm.
say that like this mark of Cain is not, it's better off in hemlock. We'll just say
Mm.
it's better to say the mark of Cain is the spots of hemlock, or the spots on the stem. So in Native American, and especially it's the Clallam people, and this I found this is an interesting picture. So this is a picture of a chief, and I'll tell you who it is. So in for the Clallam people, it's talked about that it was love medicine. So the roots were rubbed on women's bodies to attract the attention of a man, which is very interesting because they smell horrible. So
Yeah. And they could give you like
dermatitis.
rashes and stuff.
Exactly.
Eee.
So also, by the way, just for your reference, the Clallam people, they were in Washington, okay? So in America, and they occupied like up by the Olympic Peninsula is where the Clallam people were from. And the picture that you see is Chief Chitsimanhun and his wife from 1885. So
Oh.
give credit where credit's due. So in Latvia and Lithuania, it's associated with the toad goddess. Okay, so then I just heard this and I went down a rabbit hole. What is the freaking toad goddess? Okay, well, there's many possibilities. There's three specifically. So, first of all, we have Mara or Crupitus, so the sacred toad. So in Latvian tradition, Mara is like this all mother and she rules over the material world, earth. She's a goddess of fertility. And her symbol is the toad, known as Crupitus. It's one of her primary sacred representations. So that's like the most likely. So hemlock is associated with the toad goddess. So also is Ragana. So she's like a primordial goddess and associated with destruction, nature cycles, with wisdom. She's a shapeshifter. So she's like a master shapeshifter, and she often takes the form of a poisonous toad. So she could take the form of a snake or a hedgehog. So those are kind of like the three most likely like shape-shifting that she does. And so she's all about nature's balance. And of course, Christians have to demonize her. What's new? Like Lilith, all sorts of things. We have to demonize the because we have to the reason why usually is that we have to demonize the female goddess because the male god took over and it was like a solo god and he's a jealous god, which necessarily implies that he like even the God of the Bible implies other gods and goddesses. Okay, so if people say that there isn't other gods and goddesses, like they should read their own Bible because they talk about other gods and goddesses in the Bible. It says that anyway. So okay, so anyway, she's about nature's balance, and Christian influences demonize her into a malevolent witch. So it was like, but her original thought was she was crucial for like natural balance and ecological balance. She governed death, winter, regeneration. She was like basically the crone. Like,
Mm.
okay, so and toads and serpents were her earthly eyes and her companion. So finally, we have Lauma, who's a forest spirit or fairy, and she also is connected to the toad. So over centuries, like there was like a blurring between Ragana and Lauma, okay? But by the 18th century, folklore recorded that this disgruntled Lauma could transform herself into a milk-stealing toad, okay, to curse
Mm.
disrespectful households. So Latvia has a lot of like possibilities for the toad goddess, but I went down this rabbit hole and I am really interested and into these people. And it's rare that I come across goddesses that like I don't know a lot about, but these were so rad. So yay, toad goddess.
Love it.
And yay, association hemlock. So in the Middle East, okay, let's see. In Sumer, which is the modern day Iraq or Kuwait, they used hemlock to bring about plagues and pestilence, and conversely to expel them. So now we go. Okay, so again, we're in the poison section. Danger ahead. poison. Poison paradise. Okay, so this is poison. So everything I'm going to tell you about magic or about medicinal uses all has to be set under the rubric that we are talking about poison. So first of all, the correspondences. The element earth or water was Michael, who is we'll talk about this book too. Anyway, so you'll see it in my sources. Anyway, but Franklin and Briggs both say it's just water, probably because it grows by water.
Mm.
But I've heard Earth. Earth is like a huge thing, so I don't know. Planet is Saturn. A lot of poisons are Saturn, so astrological sign is Saturn in Scorpio. So water sign, kind of like this hidden, mysterious. I think that's legit. The temperature is hot. Boyer says it's hot. Okay, so, but Greer, who is like kind of where we started getting these like whole like temperature things, was John Michael Greer, and I like might do his book. You're gonna see his book featured. In fact, I'm calling it. One of my books next week is gonna be Greer. Okay,
Nice.
so this is where we got all this temperature stuff, and he says
Mm.
it's cold and dry in the 4th degree. So I thought there were only 3 degrees, but apparently there's a 4th degree. I did not know that. So my research said 3rd degree. So you know what? I'm interested. In fact, I'm going to go on a deep dive of Greer. I'm interested in this. So there we go.
Nice.
The tarot card, death. Most people say that death, and of course, death isn't like worldly death, but this is a deadly plant, so makes sense. Some people say the Ten of Swords. I would not say the Ten of Swords. People like love to villainize the swords cards.
Yeah.
Okay, it's a oft villainized suit. I don't think that. Okay, I also don't associate swords. I associate with fire and with like energy, and so like that the card you can then take it however it is, but in fact there's one set of cards that's like it has like a joke card associated. I think it's the Witches Tarot or something, the Modern Witches Tarot, and it has like a person laying on the ground with swords in them and saying everything's fine, and or something to that nature. Okay, it's like you
Yeah.
get like this additional joke card. So
Mm.
I kind of think like that's like it's probably being overwhelmed by everything around you. It's like being
Mm.
like so overwhelmed that you're like peace out, but it's
Yeah.
overwhelmed by this incredible fiery presence. So
Mm.
that's kind of my take on the Ten of Swords. So I would not associate it with Hemlock because Hemlock slows you down like in a way that like you're depressed and
Mm.
like not
Yeah.
like so much energy is like on you that you're like it's like a different kind of feeling about it. I
Yeah.
would definitely say death because it was used as an execution herb as well. So
Yeah.
it's just my thought. So the chakra, so there was 2 that I saw. So the root chakra, because and this would go kind of along with like earth, is like about thresholds, boundaries, endings, grounding during astral travel. And we're going to see it's associated with astral travel. Or another one was sacral. So
Mm.
historically, it's associated with, we're going to see this in magic too, with like squashing libido, especially men's libido.
Mm.
And so the sacral chakra, and this is another thing, this is a take on chakras that's an interesting one. People, it's like your sacral chakra is often about creativity, but it's often about like part of creativity is your own reproductive creativity. So it's associated with not our sex organs, but the reproductive creativity and like kind of like libido instead of like just the physicality of your vagina or vulva, like, or penis. Like not that's like more of like a root chakra thing, like the physicality of it. And actually the root
Mhm.
chakra is like between the vagina and the anus. Sorry to be so graphic, but it is what it is. It's like this
Yeah.
little like square section like right in between, or like between like your testes and your anus, like that little square area. That's actually like the root chakra, where the sacral chakra is actually like in like where your
It's like the womb space.
yeah, the womb space. So this is about freezing that like libido and sexual energy. So I can definitely see how sacral chakra is implicated in this, closing down the sacral chakra.
Mm.
So the goddesses that we associated with demons, I don't know who's saying that. Whatever. Hecate, definitely. Circe, Medea, the toad goddess. We saw the toad goddess. Kali, Lilith, Ereshkigal as well.
Nice.
The Sabbat is Samhain. And the stone, crystal, or metal is iron. The moon phase. They what is said is the waning moon, and because it's a lot of like these poisons are the waning moon. It's about binding, subduing desires, or the dark moon because it's about it paralyzes like your system. So that could be like it's like a time where magic is stopped, like you're paralyzed. So either one, but the kind of one kind of floats into the other.
Yeah.
So
Weaning makes sense too because it like slows everything down.
exactly, we're closing up the energy.
Yeah.
Exactly. So the magical properties. So summoning malevolent spirits. It's a funerary herb, really. It's associated with necromancy, death.
Mm,
Really
nice.
shocking. So it's also connected to witches. So it's often listed as an ingredient in witches' ointments or flying ointments. And you can, and I put this connected to witches because sorry if you're a male witch.
I love
But
this.
female witches, you can all destroy male potency, virility, and their sex drive. Again, we just had a whole conversation about this.
Yeah.
Okay, it also is used to enhance magical acts and astral travel, which we've been talking about that. Some more magical properties. Paralysis, really? So you can like, but if you use it magically, you can paralyze a person or a situation. So again, this is a place where we see that like the physical effects or the medicinal or how the plant operates. We've been seeing this all throughout this with the tarot, with everything, how the plant operates, mirror this or its magical properties mirror like what's going on, how the plant works in general. Okay, I think it's really like silly when people like do some completely drastically opposite thing from what it's
Yeah.
what it is. Okay, that's the nature
Hmm.
of it. Okay, this is what it does. So it's also used for consecration. We saw that with Solomon's the nymph, right? Magical working tools. That's why the knife is there. Also for protection, for hexing, purification, all those good things. So the medicinal properties, okay? It's a sedative, an antispasmodic, a paralyzer, okay? And I didn't even put my normal slide on here, so I'll just say it out loud. This is for this, we are not doctors. This is for like your educational use only. If you think we're in the medical field, you are incorrect. You've been misled. So So this is supposedly it's antagonistic to strychnine and other poisons of this class, like tetanus. So it can be like people use as an antidote. It almost seems like that episode of The Simpsons where they like call out the bears to get the wolves. like pretty soon, like they call out
Yeah.
one animal to get rid of the next, and pretty soon there's
Yeah.
bears running around the city of Springfield. Like it seems like a little like okay, like
Yeah.
wow, we're gonna like like
Just
use
opening up
poison.
doors to more
I don't know.
problems.
Like then
Yeah.
what poison? What do you need then to cure? Like then you're gonna use another one to cure the poison
Yeah.
problem with this anyway. So also undue nervous disorders. So like epilepsy, spasms of the larynx and gullet. So okay, so if you use it in small amounts, like, but we said that like 2 leaves can cause death. So I don't know how much smaller you're going to use.
Yeah.
I don't know what these, like, the dosage might be for this, but don't start taking, if you have epilepsy, please do not start taking hemlock, okay?
No.
Or yeah. Anyway, so but the spasms, I just came across this though. If you have spasms in the larynx or gullet, it can make it really hard to eat. So, but
Mm.
use like modern
There are
medicine.
better ways.
Yeah, it's better ways than poisoning yourself with hemlock.
Yeah.
So inhalation, it's supposed to relieve cough and bronchitis, whooping cough, and asthma. And like I said, in some sort of apocalyptic scenario, you could use it as an anesthetic. Okay, but
Yeah.
this would have to be like the world has like some sort of Terminator, like end of the world scenario, okay? Like where AI is taken over. They have become like sentient and they have taken over the world and now we're screwed and we have no access.
Yeah.
They've cut us out of everything. Or some like Matrix scenario where we're just hooked up to, like, let me tell you, some
Yeah.
apocalyptic scenario, because don't start using this for an anesthetic, dwale.
Mm.
Don't start using dwale if
Mm.
we have anesthetics, okay? We have other anesthetics now. We know about this, so don't do that. Anyway, so that's that. And I have 2 pages of sources. I used a lot of sources for this. And you can see like Grieve is in there for sure. So I did use Grieve, but we're gonna like,
Nice.
yes. So um this is the second source. These are all like, I used, in fact, like the dwale, I used like a scholarly paper about it. Like I used some
Nice.
scholarly papers for this. So be aware that like I do that. I go down a scholarly route at times. So that does happen for me. So let me stop the share. And that is that.
Oh,
Hemlock.
nice.
Enjoy. There's a lot there. And I hope, you know what, you can go, like, the best is to go on like a deep dive and go like, another fun thing that I saw was like this morning on and this applies directly to us on like Good Morning Sunday Morning, the Sunday morning show. Like they had
Mm.
a thing on iNaturalist, which is the an app that you can get that is, I find it's one of the best ones.
Mm.
And it's a nonprofit organization. And if you allow it to link to your like, which just let it link to your GPS, okay? Just do it, okay? Because you are helping the larger plant and
Mm.
animal world. It's plants and animals. And so you take like a picture and it'll tell you exactly what it is. So it's an identification tool. And you can, and then it connects like where you found it to like the
Oh,
larger
that's cool. It's
world.
like map it out.
Yeah, so
That's
where is
cool.
this plant found? So when you like, it's interesting. Use that when you're out and about, and it's interesting to see what you see and see if you can find hemlock in your natural environment, and
Mm.
see if you can differentiate it between like wild chervil or Queen Anne's. Like,
Yeah.
don't start touching things, but see what you can do. And
Mm.
but the funniest thing is that I saw it this morning, like a whole thing on it, and like they found like species like they of animals, like they found this like wild
Oh,
weasel somewhere that like had never been photographed or found. They're finding like new species through
that's
this
cool.
app and through just like a group project. So be part of it, be part of this
Mm.
nonprofit, be part of like this group, like knowing your plants and animals in the world. Be a naturalist. You get to be a
Yeah.
naturalist too. And
Little
that's that.
scientist.
Yeah. And so like I said, we found some hemlock in when we were out and about. Like that location is pretty rad. Like there's
Nice.
natural places all over
Mm.
your environment that you can find it. Anyway,
Yeah.
like and subscribe below, and we will see you at the next Ditch Witch Diaries.